In this video, I'll show you how I prune my jade plant. I was given this plant a while back, and as you can see from the picture, it's very top heavy. I don't think it's been pruned for quite a while. The only way that it'll stand up is either if I use a cane or if I lean it against a window. Jade plants need plenty of light to thrive. If they're in too dark a location, they're going to develop long, spindly stems as they try and hunt for light. Because they're putting all of their effort in trying to find this light, the stems aren't really going to have any branching on them. So you can see in this picture, I think this is exactly what's happened to the plant that I was given. The stems are very long, they're very thin, they're very spindly. They haven't got any strength within them, and there's no real branching on them. So I think it's just been hunting for light. That in turn has caused a lot of excess spindly growth, and it's contributed to the top heavy nature of the plant. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to prune the plant and take a little bit of weight out at the top of the plant. If you look at the stems of a jade plant, you'll see numerous nodes, and I've circled two of them on the picture here. So when I prune the plant, I'm going to be cutting just above one of these nodes. Once you've cut above one of the nodes, the stem will usually develop two new stems from the closest node to the cut. So I've marked that with the two red arrows on the picture. So it's time to start pruning and see if I can reduce the weight of this plant so that the trunk can actually support everything once more. As you can see, I've cut just above a leaf node here, so I'd expect two new stems to develop from the node just below this cut. So this is starting to look a lot better now. Even though I've got the cane here, the trunk will actually stand up on its own. And this is the end result. It's the 23rd of April, and I've got a pruned jade that will support its own weight. And fast forward to the 19th of May, and we're already starting to see some new growth. So as expected, we're already starting to see some growth from both sides of the node underneath the cut. The remaining section of stem above that node, which I've circled, as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit smaller now. That will just fall off. By the 17th of July, things are looking better still. We've got some significant growth on the plant now, and it's able to completely support its own weight without any sort of cane or leaning against a window, nothing like that. It's independently supporting itself now. Pruning a jade plant will generally encourage growth. As you can see, I've circled a section of the trunk here. If I zoom in, you can see that I'm actually getting some new growth from the trunk where there was none before. And while pruning is generally promoting growth on the plant, it's also going to help strengthen the trunk at the same time. To maximise their growth, jade plants need to be located in a sunny position, so I've got mine on a windowsill in direct sunlight. I did make one error though. I didn't rotate it often enough, so as you can see from this picture, I've got one quite small leaf on the one side, whereas the leaves on the other side are a lot bigger. So yeah, if you are doing this, you just need to make sure that you rotate the plant regularly so that it evens out the light exposure. So in summary, you can see how my jade plants progressed from a heavily pruned plant in April through to a plant in July that's got a fairly good amount of growth on it. I'm aiming for a tree-like form with this plant, and it's obviously going to keep growing over the next few years, so I'm going to need to keep pruning it regularly. By pruning it regularly, it's going to encourage more branching. I can prune it so that it's branching in the right direction and in the right place, and then hopefully I can achieve the shape of plant that I want. After you've pruned your jade, you're going to be left with plenty of offcuts. You can use these to propagate new plants. You can see on the bottom left here that I've done this with one of the old leaves, and it's actually doing really well. And as you can see from these pictures, I also did the same with some of the larger stem offcuts that I had.